Something about the Fairly Odd Parents, just like, remember Jorgen von Strangle?
No.
The like military big Arnold Schwarzenegger character. He was a fairy. He had like a staff with a star on the tip.
I'm not remembering this character.
Okay. Oh my God. I almost said something so gay and uncalled for.
Say it.
I would. Jorgen von Strangle. He's on my Hear Me Out cake. You know who else is? First season of Couples Therapy. Narcissist.
Get out.
Do I? Hey. He's toxic and I know it would be good. That's all I have to say.
No.
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 We can be evolved and want to backslide. What's the point?
No, because nobody who's toxic like that is good.
I don't need him to be good. To me.
No, good in bed.
No, that's sometimes the best.
No.
Do you not agree?
No.
Interesting. Because you like... You're telling me to...
What?
Are you sending me a signal that I'm not reading right now? We're on camera, girly. They can see you. Mama, a signal behind you. I didn't finish the season.
No, there is something about like a toxic.
Yeah. No, I'm not bringing him home.
But nobody will be very giving if they're a narcissist like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's get the episode started. America has a problem.
Cheers.
Hello, everybody.
Is this your news?
My name's Taylor.
My name is Kyvon.
And welcome back to another episode of
No Follow-Up Questions, the show where we talk about the booms, the bangs, and the blunders of surviving in America. We have to drop this, like, news anchor.
I was having fun.
Okay, my bad. You go for it. The theater's alive in this one. Hey, guys. Another video episode.
Where are we, Kai?
We're in my new house. We're in the upstairs loft of my new apartment. Mine and Adam's apartment. You can't see it in all its glory, but it is beautiful, and it will continue to get more beautiful. But for now, we just moved in, so mind your fucking business. Welcome, Taylor. Besides my mom, who helped us unpack, you were the first guest.
Oh my God.
You were the first human that we've welcomed into the house. Besides
I'm so honored. It's so cool.
I want to throw, we're going to throw a Christmas party.
Oh my God.
At some point in December. Sorry, a holiday party.
A non-denominational winter holiday party. Okay.
No Christmas tree because Adam's allergic. Sorry.
Fake one?
No, we're going to just wrap the staircase in garland. Okay. What's more Pinterest and gay than that?
That's too gay.
Big table, potluck style, housewarming.
Cute.
Yeah. I'm excited.
That's cute.
I feel mad rich, but also broke at the same time.
You guys deserve it. You guys deserve this.
This is 30.
This is fucking 30.
We're realizing that the people that live here, a lot of them, like spending however much money we're spending on rent a month is nothing to them. It's like base level for them. And for us, this is like...
top of the price,
right? We have to be smart. We have to be smart living here.
But if you're not going to spend your money on your home...
I'm literally a Cancer. I want nothing more than to be at home most of the time or around people that I care about, preferably in my house. Mm-hmm. So, like, why not spend money on the place that I want to be?
And as a Libra...
Mm-hmm. Speaking for the Libra community.
Speaking for Adam.
Right.
Me speaking for Adam. He's like so excited to live with you.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, OMG.
No, that bitch is in love. And I know. So Anyway, had to call attention to it because I know you bitches are nosy.
Is it fun to live together?
Yeah, so far, like literally no qualms. I feel like we haven't really had a time like a chance to maybe process that it's happened.
How did you know that you were ready?
Months of like, you know this, but months of
Tell the listeners.
convincing myself that I wasn't, until one day I decided that I wanted to try. It's the same philosophy behind like, you don't get good at dating someone by not dating people. I think to some extent, like, I didn't know I would be ready until it happened. And there was a lot of conversations beforehand with me and my therapist, between me and Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I asked advice from friends that have lived together and my parents. And I feel like when things fell into place, it felt right. And I knew that kind of the gut reaction was a good tell.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't recoiling. I wasn't running away. I felt good about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it, in a lot of ways, made us closer.
Yeah.
Because, however, subconsciously, I feel like we were like trying to reassure each other and ourselves, really, that like we're in it. Because this is the first time I've ever lived with a partner. This is a big financial investment.
Totally.
And I intend to like love this place.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It just felt real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And you, it's not like this is the first time though. Also, you guys have like had a like logistical conversation or been honest about your feelings. So it's like you guys have been, I think, like working
very
towards
intentionally.
this. Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily towards moving. It was always something that we know we wanted to do, more than kids, more than marriage, more than any of those like traditional relationship things. Living together always felt like the natural next step. But I think we've been getting good at like finding ways to communicate when communication is hard prior to even deciding to move in together.
Real.
Right. And our relationship is perfect. So you guys can take notes.
Take that to the bank.
He's literally downstairs cooking us dinner right now. And that's called wifey.
Wifey. Like this episode, if your boyfriend is also wifey.
Is your boyfriend wifey?
He is. Oh, I sent you a TikTok. Did you watch it?
Was it today?
Last night.
When? What's the TikTok, girl?
It's like 5 types of
You'll have to
cis
recap
men
them
that
for
are
me.
safe.
Because you won't believe this, but I did watch it before my like 45 minutes for the day ran out.
I love that you stick to your timer.
Hey, if I don't follow my own rules, what's the...
That's so true, but but it was like the first one is like bi wife guy.
You told me that Lucas was 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Bi wife guy and baby girl.
Baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then
You think he's bi wife guy? To me, Max is bi wife guy.
but bi wife guy is like letting his girl do his own thing, also ally. And we had a conversation. The reason I add this is because he is kind of ally. He does have his ally card. And we did go out for Pride. Also, we had a conversation this past weekend.
Lucas at Pride made me feel so safe. I hope you know that. The straightest man there, like maybe not the straightest, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Maybe not.
How would Lucas react if a gay man hit on him?
He'd probably be like, hey, thanks, man. That's cool.
Kind of like
sorry.
nervous. Yeah.
But he wouldn't be like,
Oh my God.
you know what I mean? No, but we had a conversation this weekend where I was like, he was like, are you going to join the 4B movement? Speaking of politics.
Ew, that's, the way you said that made it sound really aggressive.
No, I was exaggerating for comedic effect.
Okay.
But so
What'd you answer?
I was like, no.
No, because you want...
And he was like, dick too good.
Ladies, remember to humble your man today.
And I was like, no, but I think my form of protest is going to be, I'm not going to shave anything for the next 4 years. And he was like, okay. I was like, how do you feel about that? And he's like, okay. And then I was like, you know what? I honestly I like the vibe. I like the aesthetic. It makes me feel cool. It makes me feel kind of butch. I like it. Like, I like kind of being, like, feeling kind of masculine sometimes. I don't want to feel so girly all the time. And
What
he's
percentage of that was the truth?
it is kind of true.
Okay.
And he's like, do you think I'm a girl? And I was like, no, I don't feel like I want to be so girly all the time. And he was like, okay. And he was like, and I was like, do you have a problem with that?
Oh my God.
He's like, no, that's okay. So in that way, I think he's bi wife, in which I like have a maybe like.
Has he ever punched a wall?
He said he did with his friends in college.
College?
Yeah.
That was last year.
I know. But it wasn't like an angry punch.
It was like a dumb man
like
thing.
fun, like, haha, you guys would be like funny for us to punch a wall.
Okay.
Stupid.
Okay. Have you guys talked about this? I know it was in your Hinge
I
profile.
know it was. But that to me, the punching wall was to weed out guys who are like, fuck, I'm so fucking angry. Punch the wall.
Right.
You know?
Which is valid.
But a silly wall punch
Silly, goofy
that
wall punch.
worse?
One is an anger issue. One potentially is just like, oh, you're dumb.
I can deal with that.
I don't think he's intelligently like dumb, not in that way, but yes, like I am boy. I want to see ice break on floor,
Yeah.
like caveman dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Good thing he doesn't listen to this podcast.
I don't. Does he like when you talk about him? When we talk about him?
I don't know.
Hey, this is me bonding with Lucas because he won't fucking play video games with me. So
He would.
Hey.
He's nervous to ask you.
he's nervous to ask me.
Mm-hmm. He's shy.
Lucas can hit my line anytime.
He's shy.
We're gonna start hanging out without you.
He's shy.
How would you feel?
I'd be happy.
Oh. Well, you guys can come over whenever we have a second bed.
What
Just
if we
know we
moved
can
in?
hear everything.
What if we moved in?
To this place?
Yeah. Rent would be so cheap.
How do you feel about living with the gays?
I've done it before. I'll do it again.
Okay. You don't have to make it sound like such a chore. No, you guys should get a place next door. Imagine if we live in the same complex. I could yell across to you.
Roomies.
Hey. That could be fun.
That could be fun.
Hey, if you haven't noticed, we're not feeling super like chipper.
I'm so...
This is who we are. Take us or leave us, but please take us.
I'm really tired, you guys.
It's been a long life. Do you like my sweater?
I do. I was thinking about it. Did you make it?
Nana made it.
Bitch.
It's
It's
the
so
best.
good.
I'm going to be so honest. I wasn't sure about it at first because it fits very loose and I'm not a whore anymore. So, but I put it on today and it's all about layers.
It's nice with the shirt underneath.
I was going to come to a good friend and I needed to show out for the East Side girlies.
It's very an East Side
Yeah.
shirt. I accidentally wore a crop top to work today.
What do you mean accidentally?
I forgot that it was like so cropped because I haven't worn it like in a long time.
Takes one yoga class, wears a crop top.
And I was like,
Come
ooh, hate it.
I haven't worn a crop top in ages, but that's my own journey.
Hate it.
Do you wear aprons at work?
No.
My bad. Sorry. Sometimes
What
aprons
is
are
this?
nice.
Beep.
The trauma bonding of our collective past. What are we talking about today? Do you want to talk about my high thought?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a high thought. I literally recorded a voice note. We were sitting up here. It was like our first or second night living here. So none of the furniture was in the right spot, none of it. But we just like enjoying our rent as
Aww.
you do. I've held this thought. So like, it's just so true in my mind. This might not be groundbreaking, but I believe that each of us can pick 1, 2, depending on the person, 3, 4 topics that they could teach with such fluency that it would be impossible for someone else not to understand it. Obviously, that's exaggeration a little bit, but I was wondering if you've ever thought about this, and if so, like what those topics would be.
Ooh. Okay, I haven't thought about it with about specific topics, but I have always believed that if you cannot explain something to like anybody, you don't really understand it.
No, true. Because teaching someone, as they say, is the like proof that you've actually learned the subject.
What topics could I teach?
I think there's the easy ones for me, like color theory would be really easy for me and exciting. But also like how to take care of textured hair,
Ooh.
different kind of hairstyles.
Yeah. Could you teach like your specific texture or like different like
Thing is, like,
porosities and different curl patterns?
I think my curl pattern, my porosity, and the adjoining ones. Like I wouldn't go to someone with like 4C hair and be like, "Hey, I know everything about your hair," because that's not the truth.
Hey, I know everything about you.
But also like someone with like pin straight hair, it's very different. And I have tried working with it before.
Yeah.
People have entered my salon in the past, and it is
What do you do with it?
hair. I don't want to say no texture, but like bone straight hair. Is that what they call it?
Pin
Straight. Just like really, really straight, finer hair than mine. It doesn't hold as much when you're like trying to put it in a braid or something. So I felt it was a little bit more difficult.
Definitely.
So I'll say my hair texture and the adjacent hair textures.
Okay.
Like very niche.
What do I know? Do I know anything?
You know a lot of things. Think about what you what you do at school.
I could teach literally.
Loon calls.
I could teach like a college course on Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
I could teach.
Should you is the question.
Literally like an in-depth like study of all the seasons, how they all connect.
Vanderpump. I thought you meant like winter, spring, summer, and fall.
No, all the seasons of Vanderpump.
Okay. I feel like there are some topics that I'm like 80% of the way there that I would love to be 100%. One that comes to mind is how to propagate any kind of plant.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or one that I've always wanted to do is like to take the ingredients in my pantry and make a sauce out of them. I had a roommate that she would experiment. We called her the sauce queen.
That's cute.
She would make like pizza sauces or pasta sauces, easy, light work.
Wow.
This bitch would then preserve. She'd take lemon rinds and make candy out of them. Like she just was in the kitchen experimenting.
Wait, I want a nickname like that.
The sauce queen.
Like you have to be so cool to have a nickname like that.
She earned that. She was so cool. We lost her in the divorce. I.e. she broke up with her boyfriend who we were living with at the same time. Yeah.
What do I know?
I used to know all of the presidents,
That's good.
how many years they served. Okay. What party they were affiliated with. And the order.
Oh my God.
Yeah, from start to, at the time, it was Obama.
Okay, but to teach that, you would just have to make somebody memorize it?
I memorized it, but I memorized it by way of color coding note cards. So the note card would have been a certain color meant party affiliation. I had different methods of remembering like this person followed this person because what was happening culturally at the time. And then I don't remember how I figured out how many terms they served, but there were landmark ones. So like RFK followed by Lyndon B. Johnson, or
Maybe JFK.
who did I say?
You said RFK, babe.
Hey.
Brainworms.
Not the brainworms. I feel like I've made my point, and
You have.
you didn't need to do that.
I wanted to make a brainworms joke.
There's a second piece to that, like belief that I hold. I think you're gonna think about this for the next week and be
I
like,
will.
I could do that. If one of my friends, I don't want to say just about anyone, but like this is why TED Talk works. But if someone were to pick that very niche topic and teach it, to me, there is nothing more interesting than like because it pulls together what someone's passionate about,
Interesting.
and then just like the joy of learning a new subject. I think for me, there's nothing more interesting than hearing someone talk about the thing they're passionate about.
Ooh.
Like
Okay.
I could list, this is so annoying and you don't get to speak once I say this. Harry Potter facts, I got them on lock. I could do a Harry Potter trivia night. I could do a Beyonce trivia night. I could do an Ariana trivia night.
I could do Taylor Swift trivia.
Yeah. Yeah. I could do,
I could teach a Taylor Swift like lyrics, like an analysis class.
you can break it down.
Yeah.
I think feel like that actually. I did that in English class in high school. We did a Coldplay song. What's the song? I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choir. Not this bitch listening. Viva la vida, ole.
Yeah.
I could do a like anything Marvel. I got you. Because I'm in the trenches. I'm learning. I'm watching. For the one day that someone asks a question and no one knows the answer, I'm there. Maybe this is just me, but I find that all really interesting.
Interesting.
I've been called by multiple people a know-it-all. Sometimes they put the insufferable in part of it. In front of it.
Who's called you a know-it-all?
My boyfriend.
Trouble in Paradise?
No, we're good.
I could do a cultural analysis of 90 Day Fiancé, maybe.
Cultural, but could you do a psychological analysis of it?
100%.
Okay.
It's kind of unethical to do that on real people, though. Or is it?
Are reality TV stars real people?
Yes.
Hear me out, though. What if it's not the analysis of them as a person, but them on the reality TV show? Like if you took only what you knew about Snooki from Jersey Shore.
And then what?
And analyze that. To me, that's kind of similar to analyzing like a fictional character. Even though it's her and it's her life, it's not truly her and not truly her life.
Interesting take.
That's how I view reality TV, if that's not telling.
Yeah, it is kind of true, though, because there's so much like editing that goes into it.
Or just like heightened emotion or retelling of things.
Reshooting of things, too. Sometimes I think a lot of my maybe knowledge isn't also like necessarily facts, but like theories.
Such as?
Or like themes. Like, I always have my theories.
You do have a lot of theories. I find those to be so interesting still, though.
Okay, so...
Except for when they like dip into conspiracy land.
Okay, so so even though I don't really believe in personality tests,
You mean you don't believe in, like they exist?
Yeah, but I don't.
You don't
really,
think that they're like
that they like really like tell a deep truth about you, or that personalities can be like neatly divided into whatever.
Do you find that there can be loose categories that people fit into?
Sure.
Okay.
But I had to take a Myers-Briggs test for a class, and I was like ENTJ.
Really?
Yeah.
I know everything I need to know about you.
What did you
proving your point. Nothing.
Okay, so extroverted. Okay. And is like intuition.
As opposed to perception?
Yeah. So and then thinking and judging.
Okay.
So basically what I took that as to mean is that I have an intuition about something.
Sure.
And then I use logic to make my gut feeling make logical sense.
Sure.
And that's where the theories come into play.
Delusion
And gaslighting.
And it gives you energy.
Sounds really smart.
Okay. Right. But that is the joy of life.
It's what gives me purpose, and also what makes me so good at therapy. I think
it gives more than just you. Like hearing someone be so confident about something gives life to other people.
Thanks.
Imagine if we only dealt with facts in life.
Boring.
Eliminate opinions. No, for like thought experiment here. The facts are like we are sitting here talking into microphones. You have to eliminate the fact that, oh, we think it's fun or it's good or bad. Like,
but the whole thing wouldn't exist.
What would we be talking about? This would be an educational seminar. And we don't know enough to be giving educational seminars.
Or it would be just on like our lives. It would be like, I went to work today.
Right. And you don't get to talk about the nuance of like getting talked bad to by,
Okay, so wait, this is another thing that ties into something else that happened at work today. So at the coffee shop where I work.
We've already said it, by the way.
Good
Do you
friend.
want me? Do you want? Okay.
We got a bad Yelp review today.
Oh.
And this Yelp review was like, I didn't like my drink. It was too sweet. And I didn't like the music that they were playing. And I was like, okay.
Wait. They didn't like the milk or the sweetener?
Like they said that there was too much sweetener.
Why didn't they just, hey.
And then also that they didn't like the music choice. Okay. And then also that there wasn't enough seating when they, I guess, came on like a Saturday. So my point is like, okay, I think that like reviewing culture and like, cater to me culture and let me give my opinion culture has gotten to now a point where opinions are taken as facts. And I didn't personally like the music is now this place sucks and it's 1 star.
That's wild.
Because
they didn't say the music was too loud to hear anything.
No,
also an opinion.
It was like I didn't like the music choice.
Okay, this isn't a concert for you. That's so interesting.
And then there's another 1-star review that was like, there was too much ice in my drink, and there was like too much creamer in the iced coffee.
Can I say
if somebody
something?
would have come to me and said, "Oh, actually, there's a little bit too much creamer in my iced coffee," I'd be like, "Oh my god, let me remake it."
That's
zero
nothing.
problem,
But
and
also,
I wouldn't have given a fuck.
Do you know that at coffee shops, especially ones where they're charging you a fair amount of money for the coffee, you can customize that shit.
100%.
If you don't like your drink sweet, get the sweetener on the side. Add it yourself.
Yeah. I will also, if you are like
if you
particular
really,
about shit, I will hand you the freaking like half
watch
and
you
half.
sip it.
Let you pour it in yourself, and I don't care. Like if
Also,
I would rather have you like have it the way you want it.
If you don't like a drink, bring it back.
Bring it back.
9 times out of 10, they're gonna fix it for you.
Remake it for free, and also not give a fuck.
Not give a fuck.
Genuinely will not take a second out of my day, will not care. It would bother me. It actually bothers us a hell of a lot more to get a shitty review.
Right. To realize that you've left unhappy when you had it in your power. At that point, hey, I'll say it. You just want to be mad.
Because also, I think it's like also people don't like the confrontation of being like, oh, hey, actually, like, I'm sorry.
When was the last time you saw
instead.
someone get hit in the face because they asked for their order to be corrected?
Like, it's so much easier to like type something out and like be bitchy in front of like behind a screen.
Let's go back to that thing that you said though, that opinions sometimes like take the place of fact or become more important than
nowadays.
I genuinely believe that nowadays the truth isn't always the most important. Take cancel culture for a second, and you hear X, Y, and Z about this celebrity, right? Mm-hmm. But then we find out 2 weeks later that the celebrity was completely in the clear and should not have been, drawn under fire. They still have lost probably brand deals, connections, maybe even a load of fans and like potential to make money. The damage is done. The court of public opinion oftentimes takes precedence over the actual truth.
And what the brand is deciding on is not did this person do the thing or not,
right.
But is their public image toxic to our brand or not?
Whether or not it deserves to be.
Yeah.
Because it's not in their control typically, but also like it's just so interesting that we think we need to get down to the bottom of things, but at the end of the day, the truth doesn't always matter.
And also it's very much like now people are very much like they will get on celebrities. They'll put a lot of energy into being like which celebrities made statements on which issues and like keeping track of that. What does that do?
I also feel like, well,
what does that do genuinely? I'm sorry, but like I don't
like
really
the
know.
sentiment behind it. I don't think in practice it's actually worth it anything. I think there's a lot of, to me, it feels really idiotic sometimes. And maybe that's a cancelable statement. I will say this. I think at its core, the idea behind that is like our currency on the internet typically is our attention, right? And giving creators attention when they genuinely don't deserve it because they don't align with your beliefs. I feel like that essentially is a good idea.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In practice,
it's like boycotting.
In practice, I feel like what that does is it kind of weaponizes groups of people against creators. Sometimes people deserve that, but also like that creator is probably going to be fine if you stop listening to their content.
But and it also doesn't really, it's not like a, you know what, like, I mean, I saw this a lot with like fucking Alex Earl, like, oh, Alex Earl didn't say anything about the election. So like, we're all going to like comment about how Alex Earl didn't say anything. But like, if you honestly if you're like, you know what, fuck Alex Earl, she seemed like, I wish that she would have been political in this moment when it really mattered. And she has a ton of clout and she could have like maybe mobilized or like spoken up or like organized for donations and she didn't. And that would have been important to me as a follower. So like, I'm going to unfollow. That is one thing. But like, I don't get the like, I don't know, like trying to keep track of it and like sway her and like, I don't know. She clearly then doesn't align with your views.
Has Alex Earl ever been a political creator in any sense?
No, she's like a 22-year-old.
My question is then like, why do we expect the Alex Earls, the Brittany Broskis, like why do you expect these creators to step? I understand that they have the platform. Right. I understand that there can be a case made to say because you have access to so much attention, you have a responsibility to use it for good. But also, like, why should I, as a consumer, expect them to go out of their way to do things to prove that I should continue to be their consumer?
And also, if you have the time and energy to be keeping track of which creators are making which statements and which aren't,
there's more you could be doing.
There's more you could be doing. I'm sorry. Like,
my thing is like, if you're looking at Alex Earl and you're upset that she didn't, like, girl, follow someone else. If you want someone that's going to make a statement, follow someone. Maybe that's the point.
But also,
maybe that is the point.
I think I saw like a different creator being like, okay, if you're disappointed with like, I don't know, the like white girls that you follow not being like a voice of activism, like maybe follow more like Black women or something who maybe will be like the voice of activism that you crave them to be, or just like maybe they're just making content that you like and are interesting, and maybe those people deserve to be platformed slightly more than like an Alex Earl.
I think the internet and who does and doesn't get the platform it feels so random sometimes, and it feels so unpredictable. I also think that like when we find it doesn't even always have to be like a full cancellation, but when we find creators that like in large swaths have lost brand deals or followers or whatever, like people feel like they've like shown them something, or like they've gotten them back, or like they've asserted dominance in some way. I feel like it's all very sinister. And for the first time, because of the internet and because of the fact that like, yes, they're making the video, but we have just as much like sway on this app as you do. People feel, I guess, empowered to like, the creators are one aspect, but like the viewers are the ones with the power in that way.
I don't know. I think
people like to weaponize that is all.
I'm just like, I like hear and see that people are craving like community
Sure.
and craving like political power and craving organization really bad. It just like seems to be another aspect of stratification and now like wealth disparity and like capitalism and glamorization of wealth.
You haven't had a capitalist rant in a while.
It's always simmering. You know what I mean?
That is true. I also feel like, I'll say this, now that the election went the way the election went, I immediately felt called back to like, I was like, damn, I need to pay attention for another 4 years.
And maybe this is like a stupid and privileged take, but I'm just like, I don't think that we should have to be like constantly protesting for our rights in order to like maintain them. Nor do I think the argument like, oh, we will be fine in like this liberal haven of California. I don't feel good about abandoning like women to die of like miscarriage complications in other states in the country just because they happen to live in another state. I don't feel like good about, I don't know, gay marriages potentially being overturned in other states, like just because they happen to live in another state. Like if you only have rights in like certain states in a country, like that doesn't like make me feel safe.
No,
you
not
know
at
what I
all.
mean? And the fact that we like now have to be like so vigilant and get our asses back out there to protest and march. I'm like, God damn it.
It's like I'm
Again, fucking again.
So tired. Let's talk about it. Look, I know you've heard a lot of discourse about this and you're going to continue to, but I feel like more so than like saying, fuck, the results of the election are not to our liking. My thought is like, I feel called to pay attention in a way that I feel like I can't keep up with anymore.
Yeah.
I feel exhausted. I feel tired. I feel sad. I feel angry. I feel all these things built up over so many years. It is constant stress. And I feel like as much as we fight and as much as we talk about it and as much as we like hope for the best, I'm tired of being disappointed by the country. I'm tired of being disappointed by the people in this haven of ours. Even going to work in Malibu, it's like you never know who you're going to come across, and you never know who's going to feel emboldened to say some stupid shit to you that day. Or like we hired movers and we're like, oh, what if they don't like gay people? I don't like that feeling. And for the people that say, oh, we're in California, so it's not that big a deal, that pisses me the fuck off, because that's the same to me sentiment as saying, oh, because I don't see it or because it's not on my front doorstep, it's not actually a real issue.
Yeah.
Racism doesn't exist because people aren't calling people the N-word in front of you. That's insane. I think the day after the election, I felt so anxious and off. And I think what really brought that home is the fact, oh, like, let me go clock into work for 8 hours and pretend that this didn't just happen. That was the like most dissonant feeling I have felt in many years. And I wanted to like, what are we doing?
Did people talk about it?
No. That's the thing. And I think there are people that probably supported Trump that work in my company. I think the hardest part for me, and I'm sure people will agree, but like there's all these emotions and I don't necessarily know where to put them right now. And part of me just is like trying to feel the grief of it, but also like I think about the women in my life that I know that have had miscarriages. I think about the women in my life that maybe they don't have access to, we'll say, preventative measures. I think about the fact that California had to like put gay marriage on the ballot to ensure that a Supreme Court decision couldn't take that away, because that's a very real possibility. And I think about how much like even just how bold people have become in the past 5-6 days. People are saying the N-word out in public. People are blatantly being like a sigh of relief. I'm so glad he won. Like you're like so emboldened by the fact that he won and that apparently more than half the country liked him, that you now feel like you don't have to be aware of the people that like this affects and that your actions affect. And then there's the conversation of, oh, we can have differing political views. Why can't we be friends? Don't piss me off. I'm not even the loudest I'm not out here like saying if you voted for Trump, you can unfollow me. I'm not doing all of that. But it gives me pause. Like navigating the world does become a little bit more scary.
Yeah.
You have to be more cautious when you leave the house, when you are not a white man, a white straight man. And that makes me so frustrated. And I think that's where for me, that's where the tears come. I don't think I've cried actually, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm not trying to rant at you.
No, you're not.
I'm just trying to get things out in the open. It's been a very confusing week.
I think that was very well said.
I'm almost like not surprised in the most cynical way possible.
Yeah.
Like this country was never going to vote for a black woman. She had 3 months.
Yeah.
And like amazing the amount of support that she drummed up in 3 months. But at the end of the day, like she had to work that hard to just fall into obscurity. Maybe she'll come back in 4 years. Maybe she'll like do some more public service of some kind. But like, damn, I feel stupid for getting my hopes up. I'm not asking you to therapize me.
I'm not going to.
Great.
I'm not going to. I feel really sad too. I'm also unsurprised, but I do feel a little bit like maybe kind of silly for being devastated, as if it's like new information that this country is like consistently racist and misogynistic. We have all known that. I think like I didn't really have like time to, I was like so busy on Tuesday, didn't really have time to process. Wednesday was like the like sick grief where you feel really tired, but I felt, and I had sessions that day, but I felt really grateful because I got to talk about it with my clients. And I felt like I was at first worried because I was like, how can I be there for them? Like I'm feeling really sad, but like I felt that I was doing something, and that I could hold space for them and like support them and just be like sad together. And we could talk about it, and we could like, I don't know, like puzzle through like what does resistance look like? What does like what do we know how to do in terms of like turning towards community and loving each other in the face of oppression, and what can what do we all have innately that we can bring to the table to like make it through and resist. Yeah, I'm really pissed off. I feel like I'm in a weird position personally because I do come from like a family of Trump supporters, and I don't know how to navigate that. And I obviously have like feelings of betrayal and anger and like, you know, I just like don't really know what to do with any of that.
Can I ask, does anything feel different this time around? Besides the like, obviously the first time we didn't necessarily know how bad it would get. I feel like the first time I can mark it as like, that's when I was flung into activism in my way.
Yeah.
But also like depression and anxiety came with that. Very much tied to him and
the
BLM movement and
like, it feels different for me personally?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm pretty grateful because the therapeutic modality that I'm training in is very like rooted in like anti-capitalist, anti-racist, like
that's what you're learning feminist. Or that's what you're working in?
It's like that's the like kind of underpinnings of narrative therapy.
I kind of love that.
It's like basically if like I don't know, like if a girl comes into therapy with me legitimately and is like, I have an anxious attachment style. I'm like, okay, girl, let's talk about it. Like, is it because, I don't know, you're fucked up somehow? Or is it because like he's actually maybe not treating you well? And like, let's talk about how men systemically have gotten away with bad behavior. Like, I'm a little bit annoying in that way. And I try not to go like too jumping down the throat with like all the like, these like systemic forces, but we can pretend that these systemic forces don't directly influence our lives, but they do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I can't have a person sitting in my therapy room saying, I'm feeling really anxious because I don't know how I'm going to pay rent this month. And me tell them, oh, actually just maybe try some breathing exercises. You know what I mean? Like I can't work like that. And, or somebody's like, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling like grief because I don't know if I'm going to be able to like, I don't know what happens. Like if I get pregnant and I can't get an abortion and I die, or I like, if I can't like marry the person that I love, I'm having like existential fear. And I'm like, oh, it actually sounds like you might have like an anxiety disorder. You know what? Like, I'm not going to pathologize this like real shit that's going on.
That's not helpful.
It's not helpful.
Yeah.
So it's important for me to name it and to talk about it directly, you know? So that's like my ethical, like theoretical stance.
I feel like
that
I mean, in a lot of ways, we all kind of learned how to exist in a world that the worst thing that you can imagine is possible.
We all got radicalized by 2016, by the pandemic, all like, and by this like economic time, we've all got radicalized like in this time of like being in our 20s.
On either side.
Yeah.
I also feel like, I don't know if this is me and the company I keep or if this is everyone, but there has been a culture shift in my life that I've noticed of trying to keep up emotionally, trying to build the tools to kind of handle the ask, basically. Because otherwise, the world is too heavy.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes it feels like either you are in it and you are literally out there marching, or you're ignoring it entirely. And neither one feels sustainable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't. And to say, oh, we just need to fight harder, or you just need to like, I think putting the onus back on us people, I feel like sometimes feels so evil.
Yeah, because like
and that comes from our own people.
It's like kind of like, I don't know, then it's like weirdly kind of like toxic individualism. Like you need to fight harder against your own oppression.
I will say this, I haven't been able to really like talk about this until now, but I feel like it is more and more important to me that like I am staying connected with the people that I care about. And building those people up when they need it, and being built up when I need it. And in some small way, like making sure that my people are good is my form of activism. And that's all sometimes that I feel capable of doing.
And that
feeding my
activism.
Friends, visiting my family, making sure that they have the resources they need, lending money sometimes, like doing acts of service, that kind of stuff is sometimes all that I can do. And I feel like maybe that is the difference between now and before, where before I felt like I was never doing enough. And I would sacrifice so much of myself if I could to make things better. And I feel like that oftentimes that's what it feels like you're being asked to do. People saying like, oh, I want community. I can speak for myself. I don't always know what that looks like.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. It's like, I want a life that feels good, but I'm so used to a life that doesn't. So how do I change that? And I feel like sometimes like you have to let yourself just like mourn and figure it out as you go. Take care of yourself, take care of the people in your life, take care of what you can take care of.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like this is the scenario. This is the reality. And yeah, hopefully things get better, and hopefully we can start to build lives for ourselves that feel good. Whether you're in California or Alabama, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I love that.
Tied up in that is like days of anger and anxiety and finding out people in your life don't really care enough about me as a person and who I am. And that just shows me like...
Yeah. Well, and like that sort of like dehumanization is like where you completely down to nothing if you let it. And I think this like community building that you're talking about is the antidote to that. And it is like life-giving. You're making me think of this client that I have who I learned so much from and who I had like, she was like the first, like a session that I had in the day after the election. And we were the like, fuck, like sort of thing. And we talked a lot about community building. And she is someone I look up to a lot because she's very skilled at this like community building thing. And I think like realizing how much I've gotten and given to the people around me, I'm like, the fact that like one of my best friends like gave me a job so I can work while I'm in school. That's crazy.
I think that's actually a perfect example. I think about that often, about how from every corner of the city, people have come out to support him and Max and Melody and the baby, like, and the project that they believe so much in. And like we talked about what your own practice is going to look like one day. And like, I feel like that's what makes community feel good. And oftentimes you overlook those things as valid forms of community building. Because when you think of community, like my mind sometimes goes to like the commune out in the countryside where you have...
Yeah.
But no, it really is just like being there for each other.
Or like a space where we can talk about this stuff and like work like
on or off a podcast.
Puzzle through it together. and I don't know, and like then your boyfriend makes us pasta.
Is there pasta downstairs?
I hope.
Holy shit. Here, the last thing I'll say, because I feel emotional, I will say there's a lot on my mind when it comes to interacting with people. Sometimes these people are your friends, your coworkers, your family, that you fundamentally just don't agree with when it comes to certain ideologies. I think there's a lot of talk online and oftentimes in person. And from what we saw the first time, like, it's not always easy to cut people off, but it's also not always easy to interact with them. So I would just say, like, take the space that you need and don't be afraid to say, like, hey, I need to back off and figure this out.
Take it easy, and like, you don't have, like, you can make a decision like in like for right now, and it doesn't have to be a forever decision. If it feels better to be like, I can't for right now, that can be a decision you make right now.
I also, and you might not agree with this, I don't need you to, I think there is a world where, because there's the people that from our eyes don't care about our rights or freedoms or whatever the fuck, and then there are people on our side that are so quick to make them the villain, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it is not as black and white as that. Sometimes it is not as good versus evil.
Yeah.
And I'll remind everyone that, like, people on the other side of you feel like they are doing the right thing.
I do agree with that.
And I think that is the hardest thing to reconcile, because it's so easy to be like, oh, they're so evil or so stupid or so...
I have heard that so much.
It is so hard to go the extra mile and say, oh, actually, what's the truth here? Not everyone deserves that. I'll say that. But, like, it's hard when it's your mom or your dad or...
And I'm not saying that like you specifically have to be the one to do that work, to be like, I need to understand this person, because it might be a step too far for you. Like, it might be your identity, it might be your proximity to that person, or it might just be like your level of like emotional availability, where you're like, I cannot do the emotional labor to do this. But like, it almost makes it like deeper and more frightening to know that it's not like that half the country is stupid and evil. It's like there's a real current of something of like that, like Trump is tapping into, that is speaking to people.
As real and as sure about your own beliefs that women should be able to decide what happens for their bodies, and people should be able to marry who they love, and you should be able to like afford your rent and groceries. As real as that is for you, the opposite or some other truth is just as real to those people. And not in a way to justify it, but in a way to understand it almost.
And to complicate it.
Right. Which I feel like understanding that like life is a lot more rich than... Ew. Sorry.
Ew.
Hey, I knew we were going to talk about this, and I knew it would go somewhere that's not hee hee ha ha, but
you had to go there.
It felt weird not feeling what we're feeling right now.
But thank you for going there with us.
Thank you for going there with us.
Take care. I promise next time will be a little more hee hee ha ha. There's a lot of fun stuff coming up on the docket. Wickednator is coming up.
Wicked is literally coming.
And
Ariana's
I will
knocking
be
at the
coming
door.
when I see Wicked and Gladiator.
Hey, on the same day. Are they on the same day?
Yeah. Wickednator.
I'm horny. So if you guys like this episode, thank you.
Send it to your most Republican friend.
Hey.
Or not.
A hate comment is still a comment. Thank you so much.
Leave us a 5-star rating and review.
Yeah.
You liked this episode. Follow us on Spotify and YouTube.
YouTube. We put out new episodes every other Tuesday. We put out video episodes once a month. So every other episode.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, all at NoFucksPod. It's NOFUQSPOD. Jesus Christ. We also have a website, nofuckspod.com, an email address, nofuckspod@gmail.com. You can check out past episodes, send us topic suggestions, any questions, if you want advice. If you are struggling to cope right now or you just want to shake some ass, we're here for both. Yeah. Is that all?
I think so. Love you guys. Take care.
Loving you.
Loving you.
Appreciating you.
So much.
It's pasta time, baby.
And on that note, I don't think I have any follow-up questions.
I don't think I have any follow-up questions either. Bye.